Alright, so we're going to try something a little different here. I've really been wanting to do movie commentaries, and I figured Rainy Day would be a great start. So, at the start of the movie, not much has changed since No Way Home. Peter has rented out an old apartment. It's basically an attic, and he's doing odd jobs to pay his rent. He no longer has access to Stark Tech, so he has to pay for his own gear and make everything himself. And he has no social life. At this point, Peter is full-time Spider-Man, and we really start to see the effects of this when his mutations start showing up. They start off pretty wild and wacky with organic web shooters. Then he keeps waking up in cocoons and blacking out for periods of time. You really start to see a turn when Spider-Man is fighting a mind-controlled Scorpion, and he throws Scorpion at a cop car and critically injured a police officer. This is obviously meant to show how much stress and anger Peter's dealing with, but it was definitely totally out of line, and it carries a lot of weight. But all of this is really going down because of Jean Grey. She's the one controlling Scorpion. In the beginning, Jean Grey is pitted as a direct enemy of Peter, story-wise, but her main target is really Damage Control, in search of her missing sister. Honestly, they did make her a little evil, but let's not act like the X-Men are saints. But hopefully Jean Grey will be straightened out by Professor X. And her story does have a lot of nuance, and I understand she is looking for her sister. So yeah, she was pretty evil for most of the movie until she clutched up and saved Peter from dying after the Punisher went for the final kill cam. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The Punisher was like one of the best parts of this movie. His chemistry with Spider-Man was great, and obviously they didn't start off being the best of friends, and they were just butting heads and getting each other's way at first, but they definitely developed a brotherhood dynamic, and it's pretty nice. And we can obviously see that the Punisher does not want the same things to happen to Peter that happened to him, or at least he just wants to protect him, and he definitely looks out for MJ when Peter asks him to, but he does owe him one for Staten Island. I don't really know why, but he does listen to MJ when she tells him to go help Spider-Man against the Hulk. Doesn't really make sense, but he goes and helps anyways, and does come in clutch. So MJ does kind of redeem herself for breaking Peter's heart. The Hulk was great in this movie, and so was Bruce Banner. I also wanted to mention that in the scene with Peter sneaking into Bruce Banner's lecture, Cindy Moon was actually there, which is otherwise known as Silk. But after Bruce Banner's class, Peter talks to him and asks him a few questions about his inhibitor chip, because he's trying to use the same technology on his own mutations to suppress them, but not completely suppress his Spider-Man powers. This is a very complicated discussion. You can tell that it's going to have some implications later on in the X-Men universe. It's looking like Peter's going to be the one that actually created the inhibitor chips, which I hope is not the case, but it's already looking like he at least inspired it, because Damage Control gets their hands on it and uses it on Jean Grey. While in custody, Jean Grey does find out that her sister Sarah was killed by Damage Control, more specifically William Metzger, the guy in charge, and at first he's basically meant to assist Spider-Man against Jean Grey, but he's clearly a villain, and he ends up being the main villain. He was pretty fine, the acting was good, but he doesn't really stand out so much as a villain. He was pretty evil, but honestly, Jean Grey arguably does worse, even though she doesn't have the intentions to be evil. In the wake of finding out that her sister was murdered by William Metzger, Jean Grey does crash out, and she mind controls the whole city, basically, and at this point, Spider-Man is not able to get through to her, but the memory of Aunt May does. While in Peter's mind, she does talk to Aunt May, and she stops being so evil. But this is when the Punisher does try to kill her, and basically kills Spider-Man. This is when Jean Grey can redeem herself and keep Spider-Man alive. This is where we can definitely see her turn into being a decent human being, hopefully, and afterwards we see her on the bus. She's probably going to see Professor X, hopefully. I'm actually a big fan of the X-Men and Jean Grey, but I feel like it does create some problems in the movie. It does kind of make Spider-Man take a back seat almost in his own movie. Obviously, a lot of it is about him, and he is in the movie a ton. There's so many scenes where Spider-Man is in the suit and he's there as Spider-Man, and it's great. But it just felt almost like an X-Men movie. Like, we do get to see a bunch of Spider-Man's rogues in the movie, but it's for very, very short time. Like, Scorpion definitely gets the majority, and he barely gets minutes. As for everyone else, they probably get a few minutes combined. It's unfortunate to see his Rogues Gallery kind of take a backseat in this movie because of Jean Grey, but they do make it work. That's without a doubt the only major flaw in this movie, and altogether, it is a great movie. It definitely has a sauce, great humor, great cinematography, the acting is phenomenal, all around pretty good, and it's arguably the greatest Spider-Man movie ever. I don't know if it's better than Spider-Man 2, but it's definitely the best MCU Spider-Man movie for sure.
And there we are. Pros will take it from here.
I'm gonna tell everyone in there how much of a good guy you are. Thank you.